first ever episode of CarCast on my YouTube channel. I am Zionic Freak. I am the man behind these AMVs that you see on my account, and I've been doing them for about 20 years or so. CarCast is an idea. Actually, I should probably put more content up on my website. Not website, YouTube channel. Already off to a great hit. Anyways, just figured I could do something and put more stuff on there, and I talk about stuff, so I got tons of opinions on lots of things. So I actually made a list. So where I'm driving to is seeing some buddies around Snellville for a Pathfinder group. I've been doing that for a year and a half, and I think today I'm going to level up to level 7 Barbarian half health. Looking forward to that. So anyways, I got a list of stuff. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you for everyone who enjoyed my videos, and I'm going to go faster on this road because I can. And yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good year so far in terms of having one video that I won an accolades for best comedy at AWA. And apparently that's won 2 best in shows at a bunch of comedy awards at other conventions. So really, thank you guys. That means a lot. Is it my most proud work? No. I did the video as a parody for somebody else, a buddy of mine who made a 1,000 miles video. And then following that year for Pro, somebody did the exact same song to the exact same anime of Your Name. And I said, I had enough of this. I'm just going to parody the heck out of this. And if people like it, great. And if they don't, well. So, it sucks. I wish I got something at Anime Boston. But Degum Spuds beat me to that. So, you know, whatever. It's no big deal. But no, you guys have been enjoying it. That's video's going to be a hit. I guess that's my legacy now, is making that video. And it was just again, stupid idea I put together that I had. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to throw it together and just see what happens. So I do want to say thank you. Thank you guys for enjoying my trailers and all that stuff. I'd rather my trailers get best in show, but, well, there's other people that are a little bit better at it than I am. But I'm getting there. I'm going to get there. It's going to happen. So anyway, so I just want to say thank you guys. So I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me, and I have better videos and better stuff that's going to come out. And actually, in terms of videos that are coming out, I have a trailer that I'm doing for Otakon. I made for Otakon. I hope it gets played, because I submitted it to some other cons. One contest, I think out in the Middle East, Abunai, I think it's the name. It's not going to be in the regular contest, but the 18+ one. They're like, yeah, it does better there. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, there you go. We'll just see how that does. And I hope it gets played at Otakon. And if I got to make some adjustments to it, I can. So I actually got to slow down here a bit. So I'm in the state of South Carolina, driving through this little bitty old town, about to hit it, called Abbeville, South Carolina. Most of everybody listening or watching this video has never heard of it, but if you've ever seen the movie Sleeping with the Enemy, they filmed part of that film in the town of Abbeville. Actually, there's a square, and oh look, state transport pulling a trucker over. Cool. And that's what they're supposed to do anyway. So yeah, there's a part of like the downtown area, and someone's got a classic card in the middle of the median here. That yeah, there's a square, the in square, like with this little town that Julia Roberts escapes to, and that's the same square that downtown Abbeville has. So that's pretty interesting. So that's kind of like the highlight of this town, is people getting to know a big Hollywood picture was shot there back in the early 90s. And I'm just thinking, all right, this is still right, cool, we're still good. And supposedly I heard, rumor is that Julia Roberts hated that town because of how nosy the southern people are. And I think I heard one story where there was an older lady that basically she walked outside and on her front porch and watched a movie made in front of her for a week or two, or however long it took them to shoot in that town. So pretty interesting stuff. So that's, want to say thank you for everybody on that. What's the next thing on this list? I have a sheet of paper written everything out. So there's a couple RIPs I'd like to shout out to. I think the main one, since I do AMVs and, you know, I'm part of the community, James Kaposztas, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. Passed away back in February. I think he passed away either a week before or after Leiji Matsumoto. I was going to say RIP to Leiji Matsumoto too, but I guess with Jim, for me, the reason I'm bringing him up is the fact that I talked to him on Discord like the last week of December because he was uploading some stuff on the org, and I was trying to help him and see how we can help him do that, because I reached out to him. I said, hey, you made an account on there, cool, I can't wait for you to upload more stuff. And so we talked a bit back and forth and how we can help him. And he was like, hey, I think what I recall is that he had some more stuff on tape he wanted to rip and get up online. And then come to find out, more than a month later, we found out that he passed away. So that's that was a hit there. And Jim was somebody I really would like to meet in person, but that's not going to happen. So I know that MomoCon's coming up. I'm actually going to go there. I've actually got my shirt on from last year that I decided to wear today. And I'm just thinking, yeah, so I think we're doing there's a panel about Jim. I think there's a full interview that the people who did the AMV documentary, Minute Chan and Star Trinity did, that they finally released last year. I think they're going to be hosting the panel, so they're asking me questions about my interaction with Jim. And of course, my other thing with Jim was immediately the first thing I did was pull everything from his YouTube channel and excuse me, and put it on archive.org, because with YouTube you never know when YouTube's going to pull stuff down. So I immediately wanted to archive his stuff, and that was, I used a JDownloader to get everything off of there and uploaded it on the archives. And I got help from somebody who had a better rip of or at least a better audio capture of his Starblaze was one that he really got known for being the first person that made the first ever AMV. I like to believe that Jim may have not been the first person to make AMVs. Maybe there was somebody else doing it, but maybe he's just the one that people know him for because he's the one that got out there and put it at cons or whatever. So maybe, regardless if he is or isn't the first person to make AMVs, he's still a legend, and he will be remembered that way. So, but from what I understand, Jim is a really good guy, really cool to meet. Again, it saddens me that I'll never get that chance. So, if you are going to MomoCon, I'll actually talk about that con here in a bit. Definitely check out that panel. It's on Friday, I think early afternoon or so. And so yeah, there's that. And then also the fact that Leiji Matsumoto passed away too, and Leiji Matsumoto has obviously the huge career in the anime industry. He's a legend of himself, right next to, I think, probably big, if not bigger than Osamu Tezuka. And Tezuka passed away in '89. But Matsumoto has done so much, and people in Europe love him. I think there was actually a French newspaper that did a full spread front page about his passing with Harlock on the cover. And then down below, like the last third of it was like, oh yeah, some crap happened in Ukraine. Here's President Biden and Zelensky. They're not that important. Not as big as Matsumoto, and I do actually have to agree with that. Matsumoto's going to have a legacy that's going to live on forever. And president and world leaders, they're only remembered in history books, and most people are going to remember the screw-ups they did, or even maybe some of the accomplishments they had. That's basically it in a nutshell. So, people are going to, world leaders, they're going to remember for what they did to contribute to the country when they had leadership at that time. And history is only going to tell if they did a good job or not. Anyways, that's that. We're not getting into politics. I love to get into politics, but not right now. And yeah, in terms of stuff I need to check out from Matsumoto, I did. I've seen Arcadia in my youth. I was getting into Captain Harlock, this TV series. This car's getting around me because I'm not going fast enough. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing a video podcast here. And yeah, there's Captain Harlock. I need to watch all of the Cockpit. I'm really interested in that. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And I've seen Gun Frontier. A lot of people remember, got into Daft Punk like I did through Interstellar 5555. The Secrets solar system story or whatever. I forgot the name at the moment. But he actually had like really no involvement other than just like giving his blessing. Like, yeah, go ahead, just make it. Just my character, sure, you can use those designs. But yeah, I just kind of want to give a shout out to that. I do have the reason I'm kind of doing a video podcast is, other than getting more content on my YouTube page, is the fact that I do my own podcast. However, I'm not sure if that's just sort of dormant at the time, because I have buddies that do it with, and we haven't touched anything we haven't recorded since the beginning of the year, and I've only put out one episode. So, and honestly, my audio podcasting days, I kind of feel like my passions are elsewhere, and I haven't given up on the podcast, but it's like we haven't done anything with it. So it's like, if we get around to it, we will. But anyways, that's over at the Anime of Yesteryear podcast. You can definitely check that out. I'll post a link in the description. Fair warning, we do talk about politics a lot. Maybe we haven't done much anime reviewing because we just want to go in there and complain about how much the world sucks and how we can totally make it better, even though we're in no position to do that whatsoever at this time. My car's nasty, who cares? Anyways, picking breakfast out of my teeth. Anyway, so with that, yeah, Matsumoto's a freaking legend. I mean, there's other stuff I need to watch from him, and I'll get to that at some point. Galaxy Express I like to really get into. I got some of the movies. I haven't really watched them. I buy stuff and say I'm going to watch it, and then it sits there. So that's my anime collection. Next thing on the list, I think that's kind of what I wanted to say there. What the heck? Alright, that's... okay, yeah, MomoCon, actually. So, MomoCon is coming up, and I will be doing 2 panels there. I was at Anime Week in Atlanta, and I've been doing panels for AWA since 2018. I started going there in 2017 and realized I love that con. So that's kind of like my major con of the year. MomoCon is replacing Animazement for me, because I've been to Animazement for 10 years-ish in a row, and it just got to the point where I got tired of it. And now I hear from a source of mine, from a buddy of mine who's like, he was selling video games at that show, and he's just like, yeah, Animazement's dying apparently, is what I heard. And we haven't really gotten the major like guest clientele since probably the mid-2010s. I think the last major thing was Dragon Ball Z cast and the Gundam cast, and I was there for the Gundam cast. Actually, I got a Laserdisc signed by the voice of Amuro. That it was through the help of Toshifumi Yoshida. Him and his wife Trish LeDoux, I've met them at the con many years, and they still go there as guests and translators, and I always like meeting up with them, and so that's kind of a funny story in itself, and that's on a podcast episode. Basically, Toshi hooked me up with an autograph and was just like, yeah, I'll do it for you, just don't act like you're stalking him, because Japanese people know what's up, like it's a like some sort of scam or something. So that was kind of like the gist of that, so it was pretty funny. And anyways, so yeah, MomoCon, I've been very impressed. I wasn't so impressed with the size of it last year, because they take up like just part of that convention center, the Congress, World Congress Center, and there's just way more there to do, and they got the big AMV competition there. I did actually submit some stuff for Animazement this year, so hopefully I'll do well. I don't know. Anyway, so I did panels at Anime Week in Atlanta, and I'm doing those panels at MomoCon again. I might have changed up some things on one of them, but Friday from 6 to 7 before the editor's dinner, I'm doing one on trailer AMVs, where I'm actually going to be doing a comparison side by side of what the actual trailers are and what the editor kind of did. Like, it's more of a comparison. Like, okay, here's the trailer of the film, and then here's what the editor used that trailer audio from, or if they changed up some stuff. How did they? You kind of get a feel of like, what were the editors thinking? What was their motive on recreating this trailer with the anime series, and kind of like how were they creative about it? Did they make the trailer better, or about the same, or worse, or did they do something completely goofy to it? So that's kind of like my way of doing it, because I enjoy making trailer AMVs because I love telling a story, and I have sort of a major video project coming up. I'm not going to say too much on that regarding taking a film, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So anyways, yeah, there's that on Friday, and then Saturday I'm doing Headbanging AMVs, which is hair metal, heavy metal, AMV, or music to anime, or those kind of AMVs from at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. So all the rowdy kids at the con can just come over, and I'll babysit them with a bunch of videos, because that's what I'm good for. Anyway, so that one I changed up a few videos and added a couple of stuff, and I think that one will do pretty well. So I'm looking forward to that. So those are the two main things I'm doing at MomoCon this year. Other than that, there's Don Bluth is like the major guest, and I'm kind of like, do I want something autographed by him? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to charge, but I'll find out. So, anyways, so that's kind of MomoCon there. I guess I'm kind of plowing through this. Let me see. Death, blah, 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 MomoCon. Oh, anime I've watched. I can talk about that for a little bit. So, one anime that I started, at least we'll start from the beginning of the year. I've been watching a lot of live action stuff too. It's been great. Anyway, so one anime that I got through was High School Girl. Yeah, so it's High School Girl. That one I was very intrigued by it, because I kind of grew up around arcade games in the 90s, and so that's basically the theme of it, but it's more on the Japanese side of it, because in the American side we had, our Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2 was big, and I was in grade school at the time growing up, so I really didn't discover Street Fighter 2 probably till about maybe second grade or so. That's when it was really starting to pick up. 93, 94, when it was, you had it coming out in the SNES, the Genesis, and of course in arcades. And I've always been around that stuff. So like 90s gaming, like I was all about that, and I still am. So that one is it's a really cool premise. It's got a sort of a love triangle, love story involved with it. Boy is at an arcade, meets girl. Girl is really good at arcade games or Street Fighter. And he gets his butt beat by her, and it's all about pride. And when they're in grade school, and then she goes away, comes back, and then that's kind of like when the romance really kicks up. And of course, there's this other girl that likes the main character, Homeboy, and obviously she gets into video games because of him, to try to get closer to him, and he doesn't have that feeling for her, so that's where the love triangle comes in. And it's not cheesy, corny, or in any way whatsoever. I feel like it's very balanced. It doesn't seem to like fully focus on the love story over the gameplay, and then playing video games, or the video games over the love story once that comes in. I feel like they had a really good balance to it. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I watched the first part of it, and then later got to watch the second part, and I enjoyed all of it thoroughly. And I was just really impressed with it. Alright, that's not a cop. That's just a parked diesel vehicle. And I enjoyed that. I guess they're going to come up, but they're going to adapt a third season from the manga at some point, because it kind of, I don't know if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, whatever. The girl has to go back to America, and apparently she's going to be there the rest of her life, and Homeboy's like, I'm going to find my way back to you. Honestly, maybe if that ends that way, that's probably the best way to end it. I'd be good with that. So, alright, we're now entering this rinky-dink town called Calhoun Falls in South Carolina, which is like the last border town. It's more of a crap hole. Zed on the armpit of the butthole of the state. That's already the armpit of the butthole of America. I won't get into that. Anyway, so I enjoyed High School Girl a lot. That's kind of like my very brief synopsis of that series. I learned a lot of like arcade tricks, like fighting game stuff. Like there's, all these like tactics, and like people come up with all these like tactic stuff when it comes to arcade games as a way to have advantage over people. And I don't know if I would say that's totally a gimmick, or like something the programmers put in there. Like, well, we'll see how long it takes for someone to figure it out. What comes to mind is Initial D. Like Initial D has like shift points, and obviously how to tackle corners, and people do that for time attacks and stuff. And there's a documented strategy of it online, but hopefully all that's still up there on certain forums and websites and guides that people have made years and years ago, going about 20 years ago. Jeez, I am old. Anyways, so but yeah, there's a lot of like fighting game stuff, or like like using Guile. There's like, I was like, okay, yeah, he's a charge character, but you know, there's certain ways you can use them to be very effective. And then, you know, homegirl, Ono, she uses Zangief, and he's a grappler. He's obviously close combat, but then like she's like incredibly good with Zangief, and homeboy is incredibly good with Guile. So, but I just kind of liked all the, you know, they have all these like, okay, the release of the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation and stuff in Japan, and they have like this like backstory, like a little like an overview of like, here, you know, this system was released, the Saturn was released, this is how many units were sold, and people went crazy over it in the PlayStation or whatever. So that's what I really dug. So you get like a perspective on the gaming culture, sort of at that time, the perspective of the main character, or yeah, the homeboy. And so that's what I have to say about High School Girl. Another one that I watched that I really liked, I gotta give me a drink. I need a beer. Talking about anime, I need a drink. Oh man. Alright. So, next series I just finished up that I got intrigued watching it because I watched like a part of an episode that was on a sample disc from those old New Type USA issues. Ah, crap, red light. Is Comic Party. And Comic Party was a series that came out, I guess it's adapted from a manga, I'm not sure, but it came out early 2000s, 2001 I believe, and then Right Stuff picked it up and dubbed it, I think, in 2002. So when New Type USA was coming out with their magazines, and they had the sample discs, and before they took those out because the people were breaking open the plastic to steal them, you know, those a-holes. They had, you know, samples of anime coming out from Media Blasters, obviously Right Stuff, ADV. It was basically, New Type was ADV, ADV's promotion magazine to kind of sort of mock the Japanese magazine, but then it had to write really positive things about every show, even though it was totally crap. Anyways, but that's but there's actually some pretty good articles here and there. I know Fred Patton wrote for a lot of small stuff, which was like archived of like anime fandom in the past, which is really good, cool. I think he only did that for maybe a year. And I got most of those issues. And I did scan them on my own personal blog also, and I uploaded that many years ago, right after he passed. Anyways, so Comic Party was a series that I kind of like fast forward through, and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting because it's about a guy who, you know, gets dragged to Comic Head, basically, or comic fandom convention, whatever, in Japan. And this guy's like, you know, he's obviously a very talented artist, but he's just like, oh, you know, I'm not into the fan of comics, I don't really care, blah blah blah. And his friend, which is like that guy, that nerdy guy, that's either part of your friend circle, you know him at school, the annoying like nerd. Like there's the nerds, and then there's that one nerd that stands out because of how annoying he is, and that's this guy with the green hair and the glasses, overly dramatic about everything. I had a guy like that in my high school too. So like we were the nerds, but then everyone was like, yeah, you're not as bad as that guy. Like anyway, so he's very eccentric or whatever. So he gets dragged along to Comic Party, and then my homeboy has this girl that's with the red hair or whatever, red-headed girl. He's got the ponytail on the side, and I'm not good with these names, whatever. Anyways, so they go to this comic party, and so he's being pushed around, and he meets the other characters he later interact in the series, like one girl that's the short blonde-haired one that's very clumsy and can't stop carts. So I don't understand, like, okay, so she's just like, she's obviously like 30 pounds if soaking wet, and has to haul around like 300 pounds worth of like comics, and that's all she does is push stuff. Like, why is she being dictated that job? Like, she's hard working at crashing things and knocking things over and being clumsy. Like, that's just the character that she is. But she's very sweet and nice and helps homeboy out and getting comics, you know, made for the comic conventions, whatever. So there's her, and then there's the lady that heads up the Comic Head and does the fan circles or whatever. And then of course he meets up with one girl she loves doing it for the fans and making stuff because she just loves to do it. And then they've got the other girl that's like her antagonist, rival, and she's just, you know, prima donna, you know, bitch, excuse me. And she's like all about, oh, I sell the most comics, I'm better than you, I'm better than everybody else, blah blah blah. And so she's obviously like the annoying one, and they all involve around this guy. So anyways, so then homeboy at the end decides, well, maybe making comics would be a cool thing to do, try out. I'll give it a shot. And so then his girl, his redheaded friend, love interest, whatever, she, from what I understand, my understanding of women is the fact that she, I guess, because she doesn't understand comics or anything, that like she's upset that he's into it, probably because he's putting more time into that than into being around her. So she's I guess it's probably jealousy, and then her just like not understanding it, and just hate it. So, but then eventually it comes around where like she's supportive of homeboy because he's passionate about something, which is a good thing. Men are passionate about their hobbies, and this isn't about anybody, but I'm saying from a man's perspective, we're passionate about our hobbies, and that's what we enjoy doing, and that's our sort of our identity, and that's our purpose in our lives, is love something and be really good at it, and just to enjoy it for everything that we can get from it and what we put into it. And either her as a friend is either she's part of it as either she can get into it. I mean, then she's not artistically talented, but she can at least help him with that, and therefore she spends her time with him, and then you have a powerful dynamic duo from that, and which is a good thing. That's a good healthy relationship, I'd say. So throughout the show, he's gets into making comics, and he makes one, and supposedly doesn't. Then he gets into the whole wrapped up about, well, I got to sell everything. I want to make the most popular comic because what I really wanted to make and didn't sell as well, even though like the people that really picked it up and liked it, who he meets later in the show, absolutely love his work because it's unique. It's his own style. And so he tries to make a comic, and he's very passionate about making something that's going to be popular and sell, and then it doesn't sell, and it gets critiqued heavily by people that would pick it up and read it and even buy it. So then he gets into the dumps of like, well, I thought this is my niche, my thing I was going to do, and because of it, he gets really depressed because now he's like feels like he lost his purpose. But then eventually he meets up with one of his friends, who's a girl that sends him fan letters, and she's like a grade school girl or whatever, but she really liked his comics, and just it's that whole passion of like, no matter what you make, I'm still going to enjoy it because you inspired me, or you really I was captivated by your work or whatever. So that kind of gets him back into making an understanding that like, I'm doing this because I understand this is what I want to really do, regardless of however what people think of it, which is going to the logic of the girl that he originally got him into it in the first place, because that's how she does it. And so I really enjoyed that. And it's 12, 13 episodes. I know that's a pretty long synopsis, longer than High School Girl. But then I got into trying to watch Comic Party Revolution, and I made it 3 episodes in, and I think I'm gonna drop it. It's episodic. It's not a continuation story, and I'm not impressed with it. I'll try it again. I don't know, but maybe it gets better. I don't know. But that's another one that Revolution came out a couple years ago. That one got licensed by ADV 2005-ish, I think, 2005, 2006. By ADV. So then you got Tiffany Grant that plays the fangirl that likes making comics because she likes to make comics. Anyway, so I kind of sort of really got captured by a Comic Party, the first part, because I kind of related to AMV culture in our community and people making things because they want to make them. And now you got the people that do make stuff because they know it's popular and they know they can edit something that's going to be really good and people are going to like. And then you got people like me and others that just are going to make whatever the heck they want. And if you like it, you like it, great. And if you don't, whatever. This is what I want to do. This is what I like to make. And if it gets awards at contests, fine. If it gets 1 million views, fine. Whatever. And I've heard from some people on certain Discords I'm on where they enjoy making AMVs and they get burned out because it's like, I know what I'm making is really good, and it's not getting views. It's not like this popular video. And then other people are like, this is kind of like two sides. I guess what I'm hearing from different people in the community. And maybe it's not just this community, it's more like in general, where, you know, you got people like, you know, just continue making what you like because, you know, if it makes you happy, do it. And then the others, it's like, you know, oh, well, I find all these flaws in your video and you need to improve in order to get popular, blah, blah, blah. And there's sort of a healthy mix between the two, and I guess I'm getting into my philosophy here a little bit, where, you know, you want to be passionate about what you make, but you also want to get better at working at it too. So, like, how I started out with my first trailer and how I make trailers now is completely different. And I know, like, my best work is far ahead of me. So I enjoy the stuff I make, and obviously you guys do, because you've, you know, voted for me at contests. Judges have said, you know, we love this video. You know, we thought it was great. We think it's first place, best in show, whatever. But, you know, for me, it's like I'm not on the side of making something because it's popular. I just want to make something because this is what I like, and I want people to get introduced to it. So, like trailers, I like to do films that first I check on the org, and if it hasn't been done, which is a lot of the movies I like, I'm just like, well, that's perfect. That's another idea that I can get knocked out because no one's going to touch it, and I feel like it deserves some attention. So really, it's not really promoting the anime, but it's promoting the movie the trailer's based off on. Hopefully people can get into, like, I want to check out this movie because you did such a good job making a trailer AMV. That's kind of my goal. That's my in and of itself my life's work. So that's kind of where I feel like where Comic Party was at, was like people like, I have a message, I have a story I want to share, and this is my purpose right now. This is what I want to do. And that's what really intrigued me about Comic Party, at least that first part. So the second part, I think they were in college or something, and, you know, Revolution, so maybe it's going to continue with them going to conventions. They haven't done anything yet. So I'll check into it later, whatever. So that's the other anime I just finished up on. Maybe I just got all my thoughts out on that. And the third anime I just started just the other night was Lycoris Recoil, the anime with girls with guns. Another anime with girls and guns. And I tried watching the second episode today, and I'm halfway through, and either I passed out last night, I was trying to watch it this morning, and I got called from my dad to try to help him cut a pipe in a HVAC closet because one of the hot water heater pans was overflowing because the condensation clogged up in one of the condensation drains. So I yet to finish that episode, but I don't know. I haven't, you know, cute girls doing cute things and guns. So I like more of the guns part than the girls, but the gun foo in it is pretty impressive. It's like, all right, we really like John Wick, and we really like, you know, cute anime girls. Boom. Let's put them together. Let's see how that works. Lycoris Recoil. So that's first impressions. I can't give you more of a review on that. So there you go in itself. I'm behind this GMC truck. Why do we gotta go below? We can definitely do 60, dude. Come on. I know I'm not in a huge rush to get where I need to go. But, you know, going 65 would be ideal. And we're peaking about 60 now. No, we're down to 55 because there's a slight left turn. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? What? Oh my gosh, cruise control. Why are you going down to 40? What is going on? Whoa. Oh, I cut cruise control off because I'm an idiot. Oh my gosh. My bad. I hit the wrong button. That's what I was doing. Right. That's why the truck was getting further away and I was not getting closer to it. Wow. Okay, I think I kind of wrapped up everything I want to say in this video podcast. So, gee, if you made it this far, and I'm going to edit and cut out some stuff like burping and clearing my throat and whatever else, some like brain farts and whatever. But yeah, thanks for checking this out. I'm actually in Georgia right now. I'm coming up on Elberton, and I'll just enjoy the rest of my ride. So I think I'm going to end it where I'm going to play. I got the radio on. I've had it on the entire time, but I've actually going to just have the volume low. So whatever the song is on now on the radio, that's going to be our ending theme. So I'm going to play it out. Hopefully I'll do a second one of these. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you for the next CarCast. Well, this is a good song to end it on. Don't you forget to watch my next podcast episode on YouTube. Don't take this video down because of music copyright laws. Alright, we can end it here. Actually, I like this part coming up. I'm going to do the la 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 part as soon as it hits. Here it goes. Here it goes. I said la la la.